Hi guys, I hope you are doing well. In this session, we will learn or understand how we can use the Python function in greater detail. So guys, before proceeding this session, I would like to say from every one of you, you can access this playlist. This playlist will really help you a lot in Python programming. We have covered lots of things with exercise. So these concepts will help you in upcoming session. This playlist link I will give you in today's lecture video description, right? So today we are going to discuss about the Python function in greater details. Let me write here function in Python. So guys, function is very important part of any programming. Function is nothing. It's just a group of related statement that perform a specific task. That's it. With the help of function, we can break our program in a smaller or modular chunks. Okay, so for an example, as our program grows larger and larger, our function make it more organized and manageable. Okay, so here I'm going to write here the functions are piece of puzzle. Okay, so which violates the dry principle, right? Dry principle. So dry means do not repeat yourself. Okay, that's it. You have already seen some of the Python built-in function in greater details in the recent session. So you can define your own function with the def keyword. Okay, so def is nothing, it's a keyword. So let me show you the function syntax first. So for an example, how you can write the function in the Python programming. So first of all, you need to write def, and this is your function name, and you can define your parameter if you want. This parameter pass is optional. Okay, and you can mention here the colon, and here you can mention your function body. Okay, so this is the syntax. Okay, so def keywords define a function followed by the function name with the list of parameters. So here parameters are optional. Whenever you need, then you can define it. Okay, so I am giving you examples so that you can easily understand how we can write the function in Python programming. Let's say def. So def in a green and bold color, it means this is the keyword. So let's say who are you? So what is this? Def is a keyword by which we can define our function, and this is the function name. Function name is also similar as we have mentioned our variables. Okay, so the first statement of our function should be your docstring. Okay, so docstring, what is the docstring? So docstring is nothing, is describe what does your function. And this is also optional. Let's say you can mention this is a normal function which describe syntax of the function. That's it. And here you can print, let's say I am a function. Simple. Okay, so for an example, docstring is very necessary. Let's say if you are writing your function maybe 20 and 30 line, okay, or if someone other user is reading your function, then how they can understand your function? Okay, so in case they will read your docstring so that they can easily understand what does your function, right? So for an example, let's say print who are you, right? If I am going to print this one, right, and so with the help of this underscore underscore doc underscore underscore, by this method I can get the function docstring. Okay, now in case how you want to execute your function, or you can say that how we can call our function. So simple, you can call it by this name. Simple, I am a function. If you mention this one, you can see. So here the docstring, this function is saved on this location with the help of this object. and the function name is a type is a function. So this is nothing, this is the user defined function, right? Now I am giving you more example. For an example, let's say def and greetings, and here I'm going to pass a parameter which is name. Okay, and here in case you want to define your DocString, you can define or you can leave it. Okay, so now you can mention, let's say print welcome and name. Okay, that's it. For an example, let's say name equal to this one. Now I'm going to calling my function which is greeting, and I'm going to define the name. See, okay, so here what I'm doing, I'm going to pass a parameter which is name, and then you can define any name here. So the welcome, whatever the name you are going to define, this function call that particular your string, right? Another example, let's say def even and odd and number. In case I want to check the even or odd using the function. Okay, so how can I do that? Simple. If whatever the number user is entering, then I'm going to mod by 2. If I'm getting the remainder is 0, it means that number is even number. So I can use here number is even, right? And else print number is odd. Okay, for an example, even and odd, I'm going to mention, let's say 14, even and odd and 70. Okay, so we can use this type of things. Now in the function, what does the return statement So guys, the return statement returns a value from a function. Okay, or you can say that the return statements are return or an expression from a value. If you define your function without a return name or return statement, then function will return none. Okay, so you need to remember none type object, right, is the represent the absence of the object. I will show you how. So for an example, let's say if I'm going to define def and test, the test is nothing, is a function name, and I am going to print, I want, let's say return anything, right? And see x equal to, let's say test. If I'm going to print f string, and here I'm going to pass, let's say test returns x. See, so it is returning I won't return anything, and the test returns none because I am not returning anything. Okay, so you need to remember, if you define your function without a return statement, then function will returns none. Okay, now how we can return a value from the function? So let's say get sum. So I'm going to take an input from the user as a list, and here I'm going to define my DocString. Let's say this function return the sum of all the element in a list. Okay, list means list data structure, and here I'm going to take a variable sum equal to 0. I'm going to define a loop over the list lst, and here let's say sum equal to sum plus whatever the number you are going to define using the looping concept. After that, return and sum. Okay, so it is nothing, it will provide the output of that function. Okay, see, so I run successfully my function name. Right now what I'm doing here, let's say get sum, and here I'm using Let me do one thing. Let's say I'm taking first of all numbers. Some numbers I am going to take. Let's say list of range of 5 to 10. Some numbers I am going to take, right? You can see that. So I'm generating the list. Now this list I'm going to pass by the function numbers. So it will give me the sum because it is returning me a sum. Now my function is returning a value. My function is not returning a none as of now. Okay. In case you want, then you can return your from your return. You can use the Boolean value. Okay. In some scenario, you want, hey, my function should be written a Boolean value. Then we can get the Boolean value from the function as well. How? Let's say def. If I'm using is prime, here I am checking. Let's say for I in range, whatever the number you are going to define, I'm defining a loop, right? If that number, whatever the user has entered that number, if that number is moved by I and I'm going to remainder as 0, it means return false. It means that is not a prime number. Else return true. Let's say prime is prime 17, right? 17 is a prime number. Is prime is a 9. It is not a. It is also giving me a 9, right? So what we can do, the prime is not a, what we can do here, this one, and here we can use the break, right? So we can use this concept. Okay. Now I am saying how you can find the highest common factor of a two numbers using a function. Okay. So here I'm going to evaluate highest common factor of a two numbers a and b. Okay. So here I can define my the DocString using this function. We are computing the HCF, which means highest common factor. Okay. So now I am taking a variable which is, let's say, smaller number equal to b if a is greater than b, otherwise a. So here if a is greater than b, it means b is smaller. Okay, so I am going to store the value of b in a smaller variable. Fine. Now I am taking a variable which is HCF equal to 1 by default. Now I am going to define a loop over the smaller number, whatever the smaller number we have. So for I in range, I'm going to start from 1, whatever our smaller number, and plus 1. Okay. Now if a, whatever the value of a, I'm going to mode by this one equal to 0, and b mode by I equal to 0. Okay, so both number, if I'm going to divide with the help of some specific number, it means that will be the highest common factor of that number, and return HCF. Let's say number 1 and number 2, I'm going to define 88 and 99. Now prime number, let's say, which is not prime number, which is HCF, highest common factor of 0 means 88 and 1 it means 99, and let's say you can mention is 2, whatever your answer. And here I am going to call our function number 1, number 2, and evaluate HCF. And here I'm going to define number 1 and number 2. See what is happening here. So I'm calling my function, let's say, evaluate HCF, number 1 and number 2. Whatever the value of number 2, which is 88 and 99, that will goes to for A and B. I am checking which is my smaller number. Okay, so my A is a smaller number, right? So what I'm doing for I in range, right? For I in a range, and I'm going to define a smaller number plus one because last size will be exclusive, right? Now every value of I, okay, so that will value will run from let's say 1, 2, and so on up to 88. So whatever the value of I, by that value, I'm going to mode by A. Okay, so whatever the value of I, I'm going to divide to A. And if I'm getting the remainder is 0 for the both the value, for both the value means 88 and 99, then that will be the highest common factor. Okay, so my loop will be, let's say, in a 11. When I'm getting the 11 here, the value of I, so the 88 can completely divisible by the value of I, which is 11, and the same for the B. And no other value can easily divide these two value completely. It means the 11 will be my highest common factor. Okay, so this is like very interesting concept to how to calculate the highest common factor value using the functions. Now another thing we use in function, which is default argument values. So guys, while defining a function, you can set its argument to a default value. Okay, so if the function is called without passing a value for that particular argument, default value for argument is set automatically. Okay, if value is passed, then default value, okay, so that value will be overwritten automatically during the function call. Let me explain by using an example. So let's say I'm going to define a function diff choice, and here I'm using name, and let's say this is my the default parameter, or you can say the argument. I'm going to write here Python here, right? And here I'm going to print, let's say name, right? Likes and language. Okay. See, choice, if I'm going to call, let's say Guado. So Guado likes Python. If once again choice, and let's say here, sorry, Daniels, or maybe Daniel. And here I'm going to mention, let's say Java. Okay, it means if I'm not defining the default argument, okay, so it means whatever the value of default like that variable, that will be defined here. In case you want to change your variable, then you can change your variable, or it means you can reset or you can overwritten your default argument as well. Okay, so these things you need to remember. But in case your default argument is mutable argument, then it will execute in different way. Okay, it means the default value is evaluated only once. This makes a difference when the default is mutable object such as dictionary or list. Here I'm not using the dictionary and list, simple I'm using the variable. But in case, what if when I'm using the mutable object like dictionary and list? For an example, let's say word to letter, and I'm using alphabet. Here I'm using the list, right? What I'm doing here, for I in word alphabet append of I, I'm going to append a value of I and print alphabet. Okay, now word to letter, in case if I'm going to define India, see, it is giving me this answer, right? Do you think when I'm going to run this program once again, or you can say that function, with the help of different parameter, as of now I am going to define the Japan. So can you let me know what will be the answer? See, so this is the like mutable object. In the mutable object, I have already defined the India, and after that you are calling that function once again with the help of different value, so that will be append here. You can restrict this default behavior between subsequent function call. Okay, so how we can do that? For an example, simple, let me change this example. here, copy and paste here. So what I need to do here, in place of the list, I'm going to use here none as of for some time. Now, if you are not defining, let's say, any alphabet equal to, let's say, none, equal to none, it means alphabet equal to blank list. In case it is not a none, then for I in word and alphabet dot append, you can use I. Simple. Now world to letter, and let's say India, and let me print here. Let's say print alphabet. See, it is giving me India. Once again, I'm going to run this program word to letter, and here I'm going to define Japan. Simple, it is giving me Japan. Word to letter, in case if I'm going to define Australia, so it is giving me Australia. Okay, so I restrict this particular behavior, right? So when the function will call, so the alphabet list will be none. Okay, that means the fresh list will be created when you are calling your function every time, right? So guys, this is all about the Python function. I hope you enjoyed this session. In case any question on this, let me know in the comment below. I would love to help you out. We will be use the function frequently in upcoming session. Okay, so try to practice of this session two to three times. That will really help you a lot. Okay, so we have covered today what is the function and how we can define the function, what are the things we keep in mind while you are working on function, right? How we can use the name argument, how we can define the some default value, how we can use the return statement. Okay, so guys, from this session, okay, in case do you have any problem or any question, so please let me know. Thanks for watching and have a great day.